All right, we back. I was gonna do another video here, just because, like I said, I promised to do one every night. But hey, here we are. Just wanted to do a quick overview using this AI system here called Vantage Point. I usually use this for. I usually use this for just levels, because it does generate really good artificially intelligent levels. Like I don't know how it does it, but it's like the whole market is playing off of these pivot points. So I usually just kind of want to glance at this and maybe put these levels onto a chart, a live chart that I'm using, just to kind of give me some orientation on where whether the stock is bullish or it's about to bounce, or that kind of thing. So let's see here. Let's go through this. Some stocks that I look at every day. I'm obviously very interested in playing this NIO. And the reason I want to play this is because if you guys ever follow this guy called TikTok Tick on Twitter, the dude's a beast, and he put out on his Telegram the other day that he thinks NIO's going to 500, which is just insane. But 100x from here, yeah, 10x from here, 100x, 10x from here would be very nice. So I did open up some weeps on this, mainly because you want to buy stuff when it dips. So NIO is currently in its dip phase here, so I expect this to start ripping here soon. I don't know when. It looks like it's close. As you can see, it stopped right here on this blue line, which is what they call the long predict, and gives you some levels for tomorrow. The 59, 55, 57, 08. These are just a couple pivot points, pivot high, pivot low for tomorrow. I do want to see it obviously trading closer to that 59 or above the 59 would be nice. I will just cut this out of my it'll just go off screen if it ever goes below the purple line, which is the T cross long. That's just kind of my main pivot. If it goes below there, if it goes below the blue line, I'm kind of just not interested really that much anymore. And if it goes below the purple, I basically don't look at it till it comes back above. Tesla obviously still a ripper. I don't see this stopping anytime soon. It's quieted down. It's given everybody kind of a chance to breathe, probably right before earnings. But you can see it's starting to build this little flag here, which it does all the time. I mean, here's opportunity there. Here's one right here. We had that move. We got another move right there, and then you had this huge one here, which this was so blatantly obvious that what was happening here, that it was going to rip like crazy. So when this happened here, I actually bought these 470s. I bought two of these 470s for I think December 24th, and this was when it was going to split. So, and then what happened was, obviously I closed them when they were up. I should have held them until December 24th, because by December 24th, when they actually did the split, this thing was trading up here. I mean, I could have closed them here. So those 220 points in 20 days after it broke this pattern here. Just an absolute beast of a move. It hasn't really stopped, even after offerings and all that stuff. You can see where it came back down right here. It came right to that purple line here. And so it's really helpful to give you an orientation. Down here at the bottom, these are just differences between the moving averages. So in here, they're calculating moving averages. They're predicted moving averages, so it's like computerized, and all this stuff. But it's calculating the difference. So this is the difference between there's a computer-generated moving average, and then there's just a regular moving average. So for example, there'd be like a computer-generated 10 moving average, and then a regular actual moving average that we all use in normal charts, and it's going to calculate the difference between the two. So you can see here that on the short, it's crossed below the medium term, which would be something like a 12 moving average, and then like the long, which would be something like a 10, like an 18 or a 20. But you can see that the difference between the predicted and the regular is going down, and I don't really care about this too much. I leave this here just because I like to just see it above the black line. That's all I really care about. I don't care about where it's at. I just want to make sure it's positive. So if it's positive there, it's above the blue or trading around the blue line here, and it's above the purple, I'm interested in the stock. And if it's setting up these kind of patterns here where it's just, it's kind of people take profits down into support and then they rip it again. People take profits, they rip it again. So I imagine Tesla is about to rip again. I did have some calls going into the close. I closed them out with a small profit just because it's a short week. I don't want to get cucked by something crazy happening, especially with the inauguration and all this stuff. And I got a lot of my stuff and a lot of my money and a lot of other stuff. So I don't care about Baidu. It's a cuck trade right now. GameStop, definitely in this Wall Street bet type play. I love these plays where there's a lot of people on social media playing them. There's like 1.8 million people on Reddit on Wall Street Bets playing this stock. There's a lot of other people following them. And then there's a lot of hedge funds and Wall Street firms and even Kramer paying attention to it as well. So I'm definitely interested in playing the long side here with this. Even though Citron tomorrow is going to be put out a short report, I could definitely see this coming back down to the blue line, which would be 32. And I would be definitely a buyer here at 32, especially if it just kind of flushed there. And then we'd be looking at the 24s. So long term, I think GameStop's the real deal. I think they're going to turn this around, and if they don't, it's really not that big of a deal. I don't think you have to put too much money into it. It's not like, I'm not trying to change my life with it. I just think it's a good trade. The trade desk, wow. So you could have caught this huge move here. Definitely didn't want to be in any part of this while it's still below this purple line. You can see it just struggles. Every time it rips, it just gets sold off. I tried playing it here for a little bit. I made a little bit off of that, but then I got cucked right here when it just had, it tried to get up over this. I was playing it. I was thinking, okay, it's probably going to bust through this purple line, and then if it does, it's going to just start ripping again. But once it failed there, I just said, I'm just gonna wait I'll wait for a daily close above. I'm not gonna get stupid with it. Here's SPY. SPY came down to the purple line. You see it's kind of getting yellow there. I mean, that's just kind of telling you that the trend is more of a neutral status. Like right now, you'd probably be interested in selling calls and selling puts, or at least spreads, waiting for this to get back above highs here. You do have kind of this little deal that you'd want to wait till it gets above to kind of give you some confirmation that the trend has resumed higher, which it probably will. Here's the VIX futures. See, every time they try to pop, they just struggle. So pops here, pops here, pops here, and then every time it just sells off. So it pops through this purple line and sells off, pops through the purple line, sells off, pops through. So I mean, I don't know how much longer this happens for, but if you guys remember the melt up that happened, I think it was at the end of 2019, really, where it was just like the VIX was just stuck. The VIX was stuck at 13 for I don't know how many months. So, and that was back when I was a complete idiot at trading. Now I'm just kind of an idiot at trading. I was a complete idiot there, and I kept trying to short it every day. The VIX can't go any lower. I'm shorting it. It's got to pop any day. By the time I was this is crazy. By the time I went long, I was like, screw it. It's never going to go up or never going to go down again. It was like a couple weeks before one of the fastest crashes of all time. So just don't fight it. Wait for it to actually spike on the VIX. Zoom breaking out. So I definitely put some, one of my buddies told me to open up some debit spreads on this guy here for earnings. So we're in the 550, 560 spreads for like $1 or something. Like I think it was $70, 70 cents really. So I think this thing can rip again one of these days, especially with Netflix ripping here. I don't know why it's correlated, but it is. This stock's garbage. I'm out of that stock. And Baba, garbage. I don't even know why I look at that. So main stock we're looking at here too is Netflix. So let's add that back in here. Netflix just ripped. Right now it's sitting at 564-ish. And so, I mean, it's just sitting at the range. We're definitely going to look at this on this other chart because I can get a better sense of it over here. Add it on here. As a matter of fact, let me do this. If I just exit out of that. Trading view. Sorry, guys. I really only do this video for the like 3 or 4 guys that actually might find this interesting. But here's Netflix. The reason my buddy was also chatting me, telling me to pay attention to Netflix, and then I follow this guy named obviously Sam Parikh. I follow his free Twitter. He started talking about Netflix and earnings. So otherwise, I wasn't even thinking about it. But I did open up 560, 570 spread here for like 70 bucks, I think is what it was, and then I bought a 600 just for a lotto for 60 bucks. So I'm sitting here. I mean, it's basically it's come to 564. 563 is where it closed at 7. So it closed right here at that most recent high. All-time high here is going to be this 575. But the reason I wanted to go long here is just because, I mean, I didn't even need to know whether they were going to beat earnings or not. The one thing I was thinking about here, my logic was basically, this has been cucking people left and right for how long here? So since July. I mean, if you try to stay long in this, you can day trade this, just buy at the bottom, sell at the top. If you try to stay long and try to catch a trend of any worth, it was just so impossible, it seemed like. So, I mean, I quit trading this thing back in like October. I just gave up and just said, I'm going to wait until this thing breaks out. But when I realized earnings was coming up, and it was coming up on this 200-day, it's right at the 50-day, and it's been in this, trading range for so long. I feel like it's time for it to break out. I feel like, if it's going to break out, it's going to break out now, and it's going to be a massive move. And I think it's going to be a massive move. I think it's going to rip even higher. And the way I would measure that, the way I did measure that was, I basically just take the top of the range with basically a parallel channel, and you can see this is the range it's been trading in. The midpoint has been a pivot point for it, so you can see it comes up to it here, sells off, comes back up to it, sells off, kind of breaks through, sells back to the midpoint. Always a support level. So I knew that they were probably they're just basically parking it right underneath here, basically this level, right before earnings, after a huge consolidation period. I mean, it's Netflix. This thing's never going away. So I doubt this thing's crashing. If this thing's crashing this way, then, I mean, the market's got problems. I would be worried for the market if this thing is going this way and coming back into these levels. That would be really bad, because that would take FANG down. That would tell you that earnings in Amazon and Google and Facebook and Apple are probably not going to look all that good. Tesla's probably not going to look all that good. I mean, Netflix is kind of like a bellwether. I don't know why it is, but it just is for me. Anyways, so this was my logic. So I did this channel, and I just basically moved the channel to the top of the all-time highs. And so I project that over time, I don't know how fast. I think tomorrow and the rest of this week is going to be rippy, but I think pretty fast it's going to hit this 635, 640 level, and then it'll probably trade up to 694. And if you guys have watched Roku, and I don't trade Roku that often, but this thing has been on an absolute tear, and it came out of a trend similar to Netflix right here. So you got a similar kind of annoying situation where you're trying to trade it right in this little range here, then it finally busts out, and you can see it just comes right to this midpoint. So it's all related to the previous consolidation. These traders are, they're just human beings, so they just take these midpoints, trade off of them. The 50 days, super easy to use. And so you see another breakout right there in the midpoint, and it didn't even stop here, which shocked me. Which is another thing. I think that's why Netflix is going to rip, because this thing went parabolic, really. Since this thing's been parabolic, since November. And so I think Netflix can have a similar move to this, even though it's a massive company. It's kind of hard, it's been kind of cucking everybody, but I think it's going to be something similar. I think you're going to see craziness. You might even add another one of these guys in here. So targets for me on Netflix, I will be trying to play this and roll this sort of like Roku. I'll be using these levels here on my trusty vantage point here. So this needs to be reset, obviously, because this thing doesn't know about earnings, so it just calculates its next number for the next day. It's saying 507,497. This thing's going to be way off tomorrow, but once it starts kind of recalibrating off the new numbers, we'll start using that and just trading this as well, because I think this is going to break out. I think it's going to break 575 this week, probably 633 soon, 605. So that's Netflix, yo. What about ETH? We talked about ETH yesterday. And if you did watch it, I was trying to tell, I said this exact thing as it was breaking out. The reason I started the video was because I didn't want to see ETH as it's breaking out go one whole day and try to take out all-time highs. Because that kind of candle is just, it's just too thin, basically. Like, there's just not enough volume. There's not enough trading that has had time to build up here to really give us a real breakout. So if you were FOMO in here and you see ETH trying to break all-time highs, there was probably a lot of people that got caught in there, like right in this area, trying to catch the breakout. But I would definitely never catch this breakout. I would never try to, unless there was some crazy news or something. But on just a technical breakout, I'm definitely not trying to catch this move out of all-time highs, because it's just too thin. There's just not enough volume here. Look at all the volume here, down here in this area. Great area to kind of make another leg higher, but that's too fast. And I think people got FOMO here. They see people buying it. You're looking at the tape, people are loading, and then they try to burst it through. It's just too much, too fast, and so it's going to come back down. But that's okay. That's okay. That tells you that it's going to break. It's just going to take a little bit more time. So I think in my video last night I said Thursday you'll probably see it bust through. We'll see if that holds. I mean, it could do it tonight, but I doubt it. I think you're going to see some more choppiness here, and then you're just going to see a nice bust out of here pretty quickly. And you can kind of see my targets here. I think I got 2130, 2800 on ETH. What else? CCIV, guys, if you're not trading this thing, I think this is the next Tesla. I'm not sure. I'm not a professional trader or an expert researcher or anything, or an analyst, but I can see the cars and I can understand their technology, and they're legit. They have ex Tesla engineers, and the hype. If it turns out to be real, this stock is going to pull a QS and a Nikola, in my mind. So. Again, I think I said something like, if Nikola right now, I think Nikola is Nikola's still $20 somehow. I don't even look at this stock hardly, except for when I'm trying to compare it to other stocks that I think are actual real companies. And I think Nikola is $5 billion company right now, or $20 billion? $7.7 billion. So Nikola's a $7.7 billion company, and it looks like it's about to break out to me for some crazy reason. Are they going to finish their factory? I don't know, but I mean, you got a little triangle forming right there at that 20 mark, right off some support. It's right off the 50-day. We got some levels right above that it can make a leg to. So I don't know. Is this thing going to $24 soon? It's not even a real company. So if this isn't a real company, and CCV, which is only $4 billion company, so it's half the value right now of Nikola, and I think CCV, I think Lucid Motors, if it becomes that, is probably going to be worth at least a fourth of Tesla, which would be $200 billion. So this thing has a long way to go. So I have a really high price target on this at some point in the future. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know what kind of hurdles it's going to have to overcome to get there, but I think you're staring at a possible life changer here on CCIV. Technicals don't mean anything. Don't mean squat. The only thing this chart cares about is whether or not the merger is real. Here's my favorite crow, doing good. Crypto.com. I should just add a little freaking referral link in here or something so you guys can get signed up for that because it's cool. It's good. We talked about that. Palantir is going to bust out soon. It's setting up a similar pattern to, like, your Netflix, your Amazon. You got Amazon doing a similar thing, or just choppy for a while. Eventually, it breaks out. Google broke out, which is nice. Well, it didn't really break out. I'm sorry. I thought it broke out. No, Google's still stuck. So, yeah, I'm glad I didn't even attempt to trade this thing today. But had a nice day, which was good, which probably helped Netflix. So, yeah, nothing's really broken out yet, except for Netflix. Google, Facebook, still a super cuck trade. I'm not even going to mess with Facebook until 300. If I were to buy this for earnings, it would be lottos for 300 because otherwise I don't want it. So if it doesn't go to 300, I don't want to mess with it. And so that's a play for you. If you're interested in Facebook, you would want to be in these up here in the 300s, depending on how far out you want to go. But if you just go for the right after earnings play, 300 is what I would pick. 290, 300. But it's not financial advice, okay? You'll probably lose. Tesla, like I said, I was in Tesla. We were looking at it here. This is what it looks like through the computer's eyes. Definitely looks like it's ready to rip again, which some people are going to say short it. Why would you short it again? I mean, this thing is insane. But the main level I'm looking at here is this 865. So I did close it because it was kind of chopping around here. I don't want to get chopped up. If it breaks 865, if and when, I will wait for an opportunity after it's broken that particular level because I definitely want to see a breakout. And I remember trading these breakouts. So, I mean, we had attempted breakout there. We had attempted breakout there. This is what I thought anyways as I was trading it. Attempted breakout there. You had this one, which really just jacked me up there. So each one of these times I kept thinking, it's going to break out, and it just never did. It wasn't until we got the split news. So I didn't realize that that's what it was waiting for. I just kept thinking, okay, technical breakout. And all Tesla was doing was just chilling and digesting, consolidating until it got the split news here. And so is it the same situation? Are they just waiting for earnings to rip this? Possible. And if that's the case, then I'll just go buy some spreads for earnings, or maybe just buy shares. So, and then BNGO was his name, Mo. This one obviously was down after hours because they just did an offering. But I think after the offering, I think this is great. They needed to slow its roll down a little bit because it was just ripping a little too hard. But it did go right to 10. 985 to be exact, and I think that's just because that was the limit for the options for February, so there was no strikes above it. So I think what happened was it's like anybody that had options just closed everything out and just sold everything. Like why? There's no more options up here. So I mean, if it did rip through here, it was probably going to go parabolic, but it didn't. Came back down. I think it's because they knew the offering was coming, and I think this thing's going to rip. So, I mean, I'm definitely down to buy some more dips with the profits already had in this. So, Mavis had a nice little day. It looks like it's trying to break out from the bag holders here. There's probably a lot of bag holders here. So, nice little close above the point of control. I see this going a lot higher. Next level, 782. I'm just going to keep going. I've got 24 minutes on this video, so. What else do we care about? Let's see. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed this thing. Definitely interested in this stock here. GRTS. Wowza. From 7. And I think this actually went even higher. Yeah, it went to 29 after hours. So I'm looking at this guy on a 4-hour. I want to see this come back. but I am interested in buying it. But I want to buy it on a dip. I want to buy it in the 15s and 16s here. So I just got it on my list to watch. I'll just wait and see. And if it never hits it, whatever. I guess I just missed a super beast mode move. But the news was essentially that they got a second generation COVID-19 vaccine Coral program with support from blah program has potential to protect against mutant virus. This is the headline that moved it. Potential to protect against other variants. So, the crazies in the market think that's, worth investing in because there's money in it, I guess. I mean, I don't know what kind of money is in vaccines, but I imagine Myrna had a good day. Did it? No, nobody cares about Myrna. Actually had a horrible day. So, yeah, wow. I had calls in this too, but I'll close them out up here. Anyways, that's it for now. I mean, I might, if I see some more movement in crypto, I'll do another video, but definitely give this a couple more days on ETH to break out. I think it's close. I think you're justified in starting to, if you haven't already, starting to accumulate some more ETH here before it goes parabolic. But I think it's close. Anyways, like, subscribe, leave a comment. What kind of stocks do you guys like? Do you guys like this kind of material? As far as I know, you don't, because I got 0 comments in the last video yesterday. So, but we'll see if somebody likes it someday. All right, see ya.